You know what? This isn't working for me. We gotta make it spicy. Spice it up! Much better. God bless the dollar store for cheap summary props. I promise I won't wear these crab glasses throughout the whole video, but I can't promise that I won't wear them every day of my life. What up, Reader fam? Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing well. Today, I'm gonna be talking about 5 books that I must read this summer. We're having a little TBR moment. Today's video is being sponsored by Wattpad, and I have scoured my bookshelves to find 5 books that I must devour this summer. And let's be real, the books that I picked out don't give off a summer vibe, but they were calling out to me, and they've asked to be moved up higher on my TBR, so I'm gonna try my best to listen to them and give them a go. I'm looking at my stack now and I realize that I've only picked out 1 fantasy book, and it's kind of been my goal to crack into more fantasy books, to get back to it, to get crack-a-lackin'. So, oop! It's fine, it's absolutely fine. I will get back to fantasy. Somehow, some way, someday. Let's get started. Guess I even got a backdrop because I am that extra. You should not be surprised by this. But hey, it was $1, and you can definitely tell it was only $1. Look at all these wrinkles. I want to be right here on the beach, but I'm here in Missouri with the cows. Moo! First up on my list is Homewrecker. Homewrecker is the story of a girl whose life is turned upside down after a tornado takes the life of her mother. But when she moves in with her estranged father and finally begins to get back on track with life, she starts to put together the pieces that her mother might not have died by a tornado, and that her mother might have in fact been murdered. Hot girl summer, more like sad boy summer. If I'm not crying all over the books I'm reading this summer, then I don't want it. Give me a refund. I love a contemporary that comes into my life and just wrecks it up. A book that makes me go through emotional turmoil, because who doesn't love to be an emotional wreck over fictional characters? I knew what I was signing up for when I became a reader. I just didn't realize how much it would take over my life. Well, this one is definitely going to be more sad than not, and it's going to tug at the heartstrings. I think it's also going to be fun because it's got a murder mystery. Not that the murder part will be fun.
That's not what I'm saying. I did not say that.
Don't put words in my mouth. But I think picking up on clues and trying to piece together a mystery is always a good time, even though I pick up on all the wrong things and end up at a dead end. Listen, we can't all be Sherlock. Some of us gotta be the dumb ones. The small-brained ones. The ones who sit back and watch as the big-brained ones crack at a case and figure it out. I'll just be over here watching from the side. I'll be the moral support. You got this. I believe in you. Don't put me in, coach. I'd rather be a bench warmer in this situation. All that to say, I am looking forward to the murder mystery element within this book. I'm also just curious to see how they even figure out the mom's passing was actually a murder and not the tornado. Did they originally not find her body and they were just like, oh, must have been the tornado? And then they eventually picked up on evidence and they were like, oop, we were wrong. I need to know. I gotta find out. And the only way to do that is to obviously read the dang book. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna read the dang book. This book also explores topics like identity, class, and family. And I love when a book has a lot of things going for it and explores a lot of different topics and doesn't just stay in one lane, but tries to unpack a lot of different things, albeit not every author is able to execute that. And I'm the type of reader where I feel like if it only touches the surface, I don't want it. It ain't enough for me. I don't want a splash of creamer in my coffee. I want it to be just devoured by creamer where I can barely taste the coffee. I know that that's a preference, but you get what I'm saying. So I'm hoping this book takes those topics and really dives in deep. Homewrecker is in stores now if you want to check it out. Next on my list, Legendborn. This story follows our main character Bree, who is looking for an escape after the passing of her mother, and she finds herself in a residential program that seems like it's going to be a solid opportunity. But when a magical attack occurs on campus, she begins to question what she's gotten herself into. I don't blame you, Bree. Question everything. This is the one fantasy book I have on my list. Oop, oop, oop. I've just been wanting a YA fantasy to come into my life and get me whipped again for YA fantasy. And this one is more so urban fantasy, but I'm hoping this one does the thing. I hope it comes at me and makes me trash for YA fantasy again. That hurt my nose. And not even just YA fantasy in general. Make me trash Legendborn. Make me Trashborn, because let's be real, that's what I am. Trashborn. I might not be able to join the Legendborn folk, but I'm more than capable of joining the Trashborn folk. I'm excited for this one because it kind of takes on the concept of dark academia and adds a bit of a fantasy twist to it. And that just seems like a combination that can't go wrong. Well, it will go wrong in terms of conflict within the plot, but won't go wrong in me enjoying the heck out of it. I feel like dark academia is the trend that's popping off right now. Don't get me wrong, I think that Fae are still kind of ruling it right now. They are the rulers of the book kingdom, but dark academia is coming for that crown. It's about to dethrone the Fae and take over. And I'm honestly okay with that. I said what I said. I'm really excited to get into this one and learn more about Legendborn and that society. It's rooted in the descendants of King Arthur's knights, and that has me really intrigued, but I'm also just in the mood for the rush of a YA fantasy. Not a lot hits in the way that a YA fantasy hits. Fast pacing, fantastic characters that will both have you rooting for them and screaming at them over their bad decisions, and that delicious fictitious magic system that sometimes doesn't make sense, but we're not gonna talk about that. No, no, no. Not the crab glasses. Next on my list is Norwegian Wood. In this book, we follow a guy named Toru who, after hearing a song, feels really nostalgic, thinking about his first love, and the next thing he knows, he's shot back 20 years in time, back to when he was a student in Tokyo. A time in his life full of passion, romance, and uneasy friendships. Basically, the epitome of youth. That is literally all I know about this book. The description be kind of mysterious, like, what be going on in here, huh? That felt kind of nice, like a fan. Book fan! Just what I need, a book fan on the beach. Give me that book breeze. Oh yeah. I've been really wanting to explore more of Murakami's books instead of just reading Kafka on the Shore over and over and over again, like a broken record. I just need to give more of his work a try, and this is next on the lineup. It's time for its performance, and I'ma be front row and center giving it all of my attention. Sing to me, Paolo. I'm actually really curious to see how this one compares to Kafka on the Shore, as that's the only Murakami book that I've read, and I just want to know if it's going to like equal that book's weirdness, or if it's going to be less weird, or if it's not going to be weird at all. Is it on the normal side, whatever normal is? I actually hate saying that because, like, what is normal? Is it what society has deemed as normal? We're not gonna have that conversation right now. I feel like I always accidentally bring up these discussion topics and never like dive into them because I don't want to. Like, I'm not here to discuss the influence of society in today's video. I'm talking about some books that I freaking want to read, okay? This is not a TED Talk, this is a freaking TBR. Honestly though, I am hoping that this is a door into a strange world, because the stranger it gets, the deeper my love for it will grow. I guess it's only half true, because really for me, like, I need a book to be grounded but also be a little bit wacky. Like, it can't be like too wacky where there's no like what's the word I'm looking for? Structure, I guess? I don't know. What's the word? I don't know what I'm trying to say. Oh, I'm embarrassed. Also, I didn't love Kafka on the Shore. I liked it a lot. And like on an enjoyment level, sure, I loved it. But like on a critical level, I didn't love it. So that has me really curious to see how I feel about this one. Like, will I love it on an enjoyment level and on a critical level? Or will I hate it? Stay tuned to find out. I'm also really curious to see how the title of the book comes into play, because I feel like his books, the titles always come into play in some way. Specifically Kafka on the Shore, like that title was very important to the story. And I feel like this one could relate to like the Beatles song, because there is a song that like, oh my gosh, it says it on the back of the book. It's referencing the Beatles song, Norwegian Wood. Well, I know where the title comes into play. Next on my list is How Not to Die Alone. This one is about a guy named Andrew who is working a public health job, and he's kind of created this fake identity for himself. Like, he has a wife and kids and lives in a mansion or something like that. Obviously, I don't know what the lie is because I haven't read the book, but all of his coworkers are buying into this lie. Realistically though, Andrew goes home to a house that is completely empty every day after work. But when a new hire named Peggy walks into his life, he must figure out a way to bring the truth to light without basically burning down every bridge ever that he's built with any of his coworkers. I feel like this book could potentially be a guide for me because I don't want to die alone. Teach me how to not die alone. I guess I'll never truly be alone if I've got books on my side. And I plan to always have books by my side. To infinity and beyond. Or at least till I die. This one sounds like it's gonna bring on the juicy drama. It's gonna be extra juicy, extra drama. An explosion of conflict. Because that's where lies typically lead you. Let that be a lesson. Don't be a liar, be a truther. Lies typically grow into an explosion of chaos. And while I don't want that for my life, you can bet I'm ready to see that drama go down in a book. I'm also interested to see how the idea of loneliness is explored. I pretty recently moved out to live on my own for the first time, and it has been a learning curve. When you live alone, you live with your own thoughts. And that ain't fun all the time. I feel like that aspect will hit different now that I'm in the Lonely Boy Club. I'm also curious to see if it'll be comical or if it'll be more on the serious side of things. I'm kind of hoping that it leans more in the humorous lane, but I'm not gonna be mad at it if it's more in the serious lane. Last on my list is A Tale for the Time Being. This story follows our main character Ruth, which it's interesting that the main character's name is Ruth and the author's name is also Ruth. Fascinating, interesting, what's up with that? Ruth comes across a lunchbox full of items when she's walking down the beach one day. Look, it's Ruth walking down the beach. Yeah, we're a high budget YouTube channel. That shot cost $1 million. She assumes this lunchbox was washed up after the tsunami that hit in 2011. Inside of it, she finds a diary, and as she begins to read it, she gets wrapped up in this mystery of the girl that wrote the diary. As I was flipping through this book, I just found out that it's signed. I had no idea because I bought this book secondhand a while ago. Love finding an unexpected treasure within a book. This is a book that I've been weirdly drawn to and I can't even explain it. It just has an aura to it that is pulling me to it. I love books that do that though, that just have that magnetic pull and just tug at you until you finally read it. In this book, we not only see the perspective of Ruth, but we also see the perspective of the girl From the diary. Wow, I just blanked. Did you see that? I kind of glitched just then. And I don't know if it's a situation where we have two storylines and they end up coming together, or if we're just reading about two storylines and those two storylines relate in some kind of strong way. But I'm really eager to find out what happens exactly there. Y'all know I love when there's like 10 storylines and they all end up getting tangled together, so I wouldn't be mad if that was an element within this book. I will forever be trash for stories like that. I just can't help myself. Also, am I the only one that just like sees this cover and thinks of summer? Like, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's like the yellow tones. We've got the waves. We've got blue skies. I don't know. Something about it is just like, summer! Read me during the summertime! So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna read you during the summertime. A tale for the time being. It's happening. It's going down. Here we go. Those are 5... That book just attacked me! That was so mean! You probably could see the fear in my eyes when that just happened. 5... Okay, Mr. How Not to Die Alone. I see how it is. Is that a sign that I'm gonna die alone? I hope not. You're gonna sit down here. Anyway, those were 5 books that I am hoping to read this summer. 5 books that have been yelling at me to read them. Thank God books can't actually yell, because my whole TBR would be yelling at me all day, every day. Let me know down below in the comments if you have read any of these books and what your thoughts are on them, because I always love hearing your thoughts on books that I'm planning to read or books that I've read. If you haven't, then let me know down below in the comments some books that you are hoping to get to this summer. Again, thank you to Wattpad for sponsoring this video. Homewrecker is in stores now, and I will leave more links and information on it down below in the description. If you like this video, be sure to go and hit that like button. If you want to see more bookish content from me, be sure to go and hit subscribe or go and hit that bell icon, and you'll be notified every time I post new videos. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope your day is bright, that tomorrow is brighter. Keep reading what your heart desires, and I will see you soon with a new video. Bye. The ones who sit back and watch the big brain ones crack at a cake.